Every morning when we open our eyes, we are given a reset button, an invitation to begin again no matter how heavy the day before may have been. And in that very first breath lies a choice that has the power to shift the entire trajectory of the hours ahead, because the words we speak to ourselves in those first quiet moments are not just fleeting thoughts. They are the seeds we plant in the soil of our minds that will grow into the actions, feelings, and responses we carry into the world. When you choose to tell yourself that today matters, that you are capable, that you are strong enough to face whatever comes, you are not just uttering empty affirmations. You are intentionally setting the tone for your own story, one that says you are the author, not a passive character, and this intention becomes a compass when challenges try to pull you off course. It is easy to let yesterday's failures, doubts, or disappointments dictate today, but when you remind yourself that this morning is new, that you are not chained to old patterns, you step into the day with a sense of agency that fuels resilience. Intention is not about pretending everything will be perfect. It is about reminding yourself that you get to choose how to show up, and that choice influences how you react when the unexpected happens, whether it's a harsh word from someone else, an obstacle in your path, or your own inner critic trying to whisper you're not enough. Telling yourself each morning that you will meet life with courage, gratitude, or kindness does not erase difficulties, but it creates an inner foundation so that when difficulties arrive, you already know the posture with which you will face them. And this simple act of beginning with intentional words becomes a daily practice of self-leadership. You don't have to wait for a milestone, a new year, or a dramatic change to start over, because each sunrise extends the same opportunity. And when you lean into it with awareness, your mornings transform from automatic routines into sacred beginnings, reminders that you are not powerless, that you are not merely surviving but consciously shaping the way you live. And while others may see a morning as ordinary, you can see it as the opening of a chapter that hasn't yet been written, where the words you choose to tell yourself are the ink that sketches the tone, courage, and the clarity of the story you will live that day. Choosing courage over fear each morning is a decision that shapes the way you move through the day, because fear will always be waiting at the door with its convincing whispers, telling you to stay small, to stay silent, to avoid risks. And while fear can disguise itself as safety, what it really does is build walls around your life, keeping you from growth, connection, and possibility. Courage, on the other hand, is not the absence of fear, but the choice to keep walking even with trembling hands and an uncertain heart. And when you wake up and tell yourself that you will meet what comes with bravery, you are declaring that fear will not be the one steering your life. You are choosing to lean into the discomfort of vulnerability rather than retreat into the numbness of avoidance. And this choice matters because so much of what brings meaning to our lives, love, creativity, honesty, pursuing a dream, standing up for what's right, cannot be reached without stepping through the doorway of fear. Every time you avoid, fear grows stronger, but every time you choose courage, no matter how small the act may seem, you reclaim a little more of your power, whether it's having the difficult conversation you've been postponing, speaking your truth even when your voice shakes, or taking a step toward a goal that feels intimidating. Courage is built like a muscle through practice, and mornings are the perfect time to remind yourself that you have that muscle, that you are capable of using it even when your mind is tempted to play it safe, because avoidance promises comfort but only delivers regret, while bravery promises discomfort but delivers freedom. Fear might never fully leave, but when you train yourself to greet it with courage, you begin to see it not as a stop sign, but as a signal that something important is on the other side. And by making this your morning intention, you give yourself the chance to live fully, to be seen, and to honor the life you want instead of the life fear tells you to settle for. Self-worth is not something to be bargained with or conditional upon how well you performed yesterday or how flawlessly you navigate today. It is a truth that must be anchored deep within you, because if you allow your value to rise and fall with every mistake, rejection, or challenge, you will live at the mercy of circumstances rather than rooted in your own inherent worth. And every morning you must remind yourself that you are enough simply because you are here, breathing, showing up in this world, not because you checked off every task or pleased every person around you. Yesterday's Failures do not erase your dignity, and today's challenges do not diminish your right to take up space and to be seen as worthy. And when you start your day with that reminder, you begin from a place of strength rather than deficiency, from abundance rather than lack, which changes the way you approach everything that follows. Self-worth is the foundation upon which resilience, courage, and hope are built, because without it, every setback feels like proof that you are not good enough, while with it, setbacks become lessons instead of verdicts, and struggles become temporary obstacles rather than reflections of your identity. Reminding yourself that you are enough each morning is not arrogance or denial of growth. It is the grounding that allows you to grow in a healthy way, because when you know you are worthy no matter what, you can pursue goals, take risks, and open your heart without the crushing fear that failure will strip you of your value. This truth is especially vital when challenges come, because they will, and if your sense of self is fragile, each difficulty will feel like an attack on your existence. But when your worth is non-negotiable, you can face difficulties with steadiness, knowing that even if you stumble, even if the outcome is not what you hoped, you remain whole and valuable. Self-worth does not erase pain, rejection, or disappointment, but it protects you from collapsing under their weight. It reminds you that you are not defined by moments of weakness or seasons of struggle, and that every day, regardless of the chaos or calm around you, you deserve to stand tall in the truth that you matter. So when you wake up each morning, speak to yourself with kindness and conviction. Declare that nothing you did wrong yesterday and nothing uncertain about today can take away the fact that you are enough, and carry that truth into the world as the quiet but unshakable foundation of your life. Gratitude is one of the simplest yet most profound ways to steady yourself before the weight of the day presses in. Because when you wake each morning and take a moment to anchor yourself in even one thing you are thankful for, you are shifting your perspective from scarcity to abundance, from what is missing to what is already here, and that shift becomes a foundation that holds you steady when challenges arrive. It doesn't have to be something grand or extraordinary. Sometimes it's as small as the comfort of your bed, the warmth of sunlight on your face, the steady rhythm of your breath, or the presence of someone who loves you. And when you allow yourself to truly pause and acknowledge it, your body softens, your mind clears, and your heart remembers that not everything is broken, that not everything is hard, that there is always something worth holding on to. Starting the day with gratitude does not mean ignoring pain or pretending struggles don't exist. It means grounding yourself in the reality that life is never entirely void of goodness, and this grounding helps you move through difficulties with a resilience that comes from knowing that light still exists even in the darker corners. When you choose to find one thing to be grateful for in the morning, you are training your mind to notice blessings instead of burdens, possibilities instead of limitations, and this subtle practice strengthens you to carry yourself differently through the hours ahead. Become less reactive, more compassionate, and more patient, because you have reminded yourself that you are already supported in ways you may overlook. Gratitude acts as an anchor, keeping you from drifting too far into worry or comparison, holding you steady in the truth that there is goodness woven into your life. And when the inevitable storms rise, this grounding gives you perspective, helping you see that difficulties, though real, are not the whole story. And perhaps the greatest gift of morning gratitude is that it reminds you that you don't need to wait for everything to fall into place before you can feel peace or joy, because gratitude creates a sense of wholeness right where you are. And when you begin your day with that awareness, you carry into the world a heart that is open, centered, and ready not just to endure, but to truly live. Each morning, you owe it to yourself to remember that permission to be imperfect is not a lowering of standards or a sign of carelessness, but a recognition of what it means to be human, because mistakes are not evidence that you are weak or incapable. They are proof that you are showing up, stretching beyond what is safe, daring to participate in the messy process of growth. And when you wake up and remind yourself of this truth, you free yourself from the paralyzing grip of perfectionism that whispers you must get everything right in order to be worthy of love, respect, or belonging. The reality is that perfection is an illusion, a mask we wear to shield ourselves from judgment, but it also keeps us from connection and from fully engaging with life, because when you spend your energy trying not to make a mistake, you rob yourself of the joy that comes with experimenting. Learning and even failing forward, mistakes are not the opposite of progress but the path to it, and when you give yourself permission to stumble, you also give yourself permission to rise stronger, wiser, and more compassionate, not just toward yourself but toward others who are navigating their own imperfect journeys. Starting your day with this reminder allows you to step into the hours ahead with courage, knowing that missteps may come, but they do not define your worth. They simply remind you that you had the audacity to try, and that willingness is what transforms ordinary living into meaningful growth. Imperfection opens the door to authenticity because people are not drawn to flawless masks but to honest hearts, and the moment you allow yourself to let go of the crushing need to appear perfect, you create space for real connection, creativity, and resilience. When challenges arise or you fall short of expectations, instead of drowning in shame, you can meet yourself with compassion, understanding that imperfection is the very evidence that you are alive, learning, and willing to risk vulnerability in pursuit of something greater. Every morning when you tell yourself that mistakes will not diminish you, you build resilience against the voices of doubt. You arm yourself with the grace to keep going, and you cultivate the bravery to embrace the unfolding process of becoming, which will always be marked by imperfection, yet rich with meaning. Every sunrise arrives carrying a quiet promise, the chance to begin again, the opportunity to release what has already passed and step into what can still be. And when you wake each morning reminding yourself of this truth, you reclaim your power before the weight of the world presses in and makes you forget. It is easy to let yesterday's mistakes, regrets, or disappointments bleed into today, convincing you that the script has already been written. But the beauty of life is that no matter how heavy or messy the past feels, each new day opens with a blank page, waiting for you to write differently, to act with more courage, to love with more openness, or to simply try again where you once fell short. Beginning again does not mean erasing what happened. It means refusing to let yesterday define your identity or limit your possibilities. It means recognizing that growth is a series of restarts, that strength is built through countless recommitments, and that hope is renewed not in grand gestures but in small, steady choices to keep showing up. When you tell yourself each morning that you have the power to begin again, you are reminding yourself that you are not trapped by failures, that you are not bound by old patterns, and that redemption is not a one-time event but an ongoing practice of choosing to rise. Even when circumstances don't change instantly, the simple act of claiming a fresh start transforms how you move through the day, because it shifts you from being a prisoner of the past to being a creator of the present, and in that shift lies freedom. Life will try to weigh you down with reminders of what you didn't do, what you lost, what you broke, but every sunrise interrupts that heaviness with a whisper that you can choose differently now. And when you anchor yourself in that whisper before the noise of the world drowns it out, you step into your day with resilience, clarity, and hope. So each morning, stand in the light of a new beginning, breathe deeply, and claim your second chance before the world convinces you it isn't yours.